Hold up. Gotta go put my hat on. I just woke up and this is one of those just wake up, I had a dream that woke me up crying, woke me up shaken and needing to come tell you guys the culmination of what I saw. That's the part about this dream that is so supernatural. It was a culmination of all these random dreams that I've had. It's almost as if God played them backwards to me. Ooh. So let's start at the beginning, right? Because we've come a long way since 4 years ago when all this started, okay? Y'all listen to that number, 4 years ago, all right, when all of this started. But wait, let me back up. This dream I'm about to tell y'all happened 14 years ago. Yeah, about 10 to 14 years ago. Wow, that's a long time ago, okay? I'll never forget it. It was because I've told you guys about it. It was like I was at the aftermath. I didn't see, so 10 years ago, I had a dream and it was in the aftermath and I didn't see what happened. Okay. All I know is it had to do with water, some type of tsunami is what I thought back then. I didn't know the depth. You get what I'm saying? Now I do know because this was the culmination of that dream. So, anyways, so it was afterwards. So I used to tell everyone, like, whatever's going to happen, I made it to the end because, it was afterwards. I didn't see what happened. It was afterwards. So I was swimming through dead bodies and I knew there was something that I didn't tell is the reason why, like, all the people I loved in my family were probably dead. Like all the people that would have needed help, like grandma, and in particular, it was my favorite cousin, right? And I knew she would need help because, that was like I said, about 14 years ago, she had 5 kids, you know what I mean? And all I knew in that dream is that if I just would have told, I wouldn't have had to leave my own kids. So in my dream, I had to tell my kids, I'm sorry, I didn't tell Toya. I gotta go find her and her kids. But it was this worst catastrophe that ever happened. So it was like we all knew by me leaving my kids to go look for her kids, I would have to have complete faith that my kids were going to be okay because they were safe and okay at that moment. But the guilt of not telling anyone something that I knew, which back then I didn't have dreams, I didn't have visions. I didn't even know I was prophetic. Like literally I was the girl that would go hang out with you, we kick it, we going shot for shot. That girl, you get what I'm saying? That's who I was 10, 14 years ago, okay? So it's not even like I had an inkling of where we would be today is what I'm trying to say. So I woke up from that dream, right? And that same night, another friend of mine, because we always talk about this, right? That she had a dream of fire tornadoes. The same night I had my dream about the deluge, right? About this. I didn't know what it was. I just knew. And that's it too. Now I remember that. I didn't know what it was. Like it could have been them putting out a fire tornado. You know what I mean? So I didn't know what it was back then. I just knew I made it to the end. I remember thinking that I whatever it was, I was safe and able to help people at the end. So, okay, over the years I've had many tsunami and flood. Like that's my greatest fear is to, die underwater, cuz the thought of holding your breath until you can't do it anymore. You know what I mean? And that is just one of my greatest fears, is that there's going to be that moment when you have to inhale, and knowingly, logically, you're going to have to do it, and that moment is just scary for me. So, anyways, over the years, I've had so many dreams of a gigantic wave. Okay. To the point where I've told people, like my friend Allison, like that it's become an anxiety, where I've always saw myself or saw the concept of dying like this. You know what I mean? And I think that's a part of what has drove me to make all the, like, to follow God with this type of faith, is that he really has shown it. And y'all know the Bible says that over and over again. He literally says that over and over again. Until y'all listen to the voice of the prophets, not one of you gonna be okay. That's what he said. Like, something happened that nullified the voice of the prophets. I don't know what that was, but it seems to be a deluge. Something happened. Okay. So, anyways, uh, I also had a dream. This was a while ago, where the devil himself, I've told y'all this dream before, the devil himself was in my house, right? And I had to wash him and then pull him out, and he, was like an alien, right? Like it was, I can't, y'all go back and watch those videos. I'm trying to get to the meat and potatoes here. But just know this, me and him tussled. I put him in the washing machine. When I pulled him out, he was an alien. But that's the most important part, is then the scene changes and I'm on Lake Erie, right? And all the people are there and they're jumping happy because the water and the fish came back, right? And then this guy was about to eat like a lobster, but out of Lake Erie, So I looked at him like, ugh. And then, he said something, we said something, and I woke up. So now let's get to today's dream, okay? In this dream, I know I was in Florida, flat out. I was in Florida. You know how the skyscrapers in Florida have a feel about them, to where you in Florida. You know what I mean? So I was in Florida, and it was like the earth, the earth did this, like, but enough to make your stomach drop. My stomach dropped in the dream. It was like, how how you're on a roller coaster and you feel that stomach drop feeling. That's what I felt like. That made me look. You get what I'm saying? It was like, that's what I felt like, feeling, and that's what made me look. And when I looked, it was like, no, a wave was coming, but you couldn't tell how high the wave was. You get what I'm saying? It was like it was coming, but you couldn't tell. You knew it was big, but you didn't. Oh, I got to tell y'all about that other dream too. But you knew it was big, but you couldn't tell how big until it crests the top of the skyscraper. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's like, is it gonna come in? Or is it gonna come in? You know what I mean? That's what I'm looking at. Like, so I have this feeling, I turn and look, but here's the thing, because of the feeling, at that, when it crests the skyscraper, at that moment, I knew the earth folded. Make you want to throw up thinking about it. I knew the earth folded. At that moment, I knew none of us, we weren't okay because of the fact it wasn't that the water came in, the earth folded. Oh, I can't breathe. Y'all hear what I'm saying? The earth folded. Oh, I see why you had me learn that, Father. Oh, I can't breathe. Oh, it just makes my stomach hurt. Y'all, mm. Back when I was like 22, I took a class on I always mix the words up, but the real study, like it's astrology or astronomy, but no, it was I think it was astrology, where you study the stars, like the actual science of outer space and stuff. And in that, they talked about how like matter in a gravityless environment. I mean, yeah, in a gravityless environment attracts to each other. You know what I mean? Like matter attracts when that happens. And they also taught me about a word, accretion. That's how the denser metals sink to the center, and then it's next dense, next dense, next dense, next dense. You get what I'm saying? So at that point, I hypothesized, um, and my teacher gave me a great grade in the class because I said, "What if this was the one area on a celestial plane, a science plane, space, where water could exist in its present form?" And then I wrote about how wouldn't that be synonymous with the how we give birth, how babies are born, it shoots in, you know what I mean? So if there's this ball of water, the particles shooting in, accretion and is happening, then the earth would have grown, versus the Big Bang theory. I was, but she loved it. She was like, oh my God, this is amazing. This is, she thought it was really cool. But of course, it would have debunked so much other science to where it wasn't, it was just something like, man, but she gave me an A in the class and I know I failed that test. I know I failed that final exam. So anyways, um, um, long story short, uh, that is what that's what the concept would be, is that if something imploded the earth, which would have been a cellular ball, right? Like a ball of water, a ball of liquid in the spans of oil, like oil, and you know what I mean? So it would be a ball of liquid, right? And the earth folded. So picture if a ball of liquid, yeah, it had stuff on the inside, but that stuff was only held together by plates. Picture if a ball of liquid folded. Okay. I need y'all to understand that so y'all can understand why my stomach is turning. Because at that point, I literally knew until I woke up. Y'all, until I woke up. My stomach hurt. Mm. When I woke up, he brought to my mind Revelations 12 and how the woman is in the wilderness, right? And the dragon spews water, right? Which that would make sense. Came in, no, it had just imploded, like it cracked. And then picture if water was surrounded by oil and it cracked, it would just come back together. You know what I mean? It would just come back together. That's all it would do. But the stuff on the inside went through some stuff when it came back together. Okay. So, anyways, Revelation 12, and how the woman the ground opened up to protect the woman, right, in the wilderness. Y'all, I kid y'all not. When when I woke up from that dream, realizing it folded. You know what I mean? That means there was nothing nobody could do. Like, no, like nobody could. How do you get away from that? You know what I mean? How do you break free from the it folding? You get what I'm saying? Then I thought about that. Y'all know, in Kentucky, if you are in Kentucky, you already know what I'm talking about. Okay, not where the mountains are of Kentucky. No, I'm talking about this western side of Kentucky, lower western side. There's something called hollers. Okay, they call it, yeah, they call it's hollows, but they call them hollers. But no, they're deep. They're literally as if navels, gigantic cavernous navels in the ground here in Kentucky. There's one in front of me and one behind me, right? The one in front of me is several hundred feet deep, several hundred feet deep, right in front of me, right? Not several, but maybe 100. Like, we'll say maybe 200, because feet ain't a lot. So that goes down. Like, you can't even see the bottom of this holler in front of me. The one behind me, you can see the bottom of that. I go down in it. But at that moment, I knew I got it. Because if this wave is coming like that, like, let's say this wave is coming because it folded, right? I can't stop saying that because it's just like, that's just a crazy thought. If, let's say, it's this big, every hurdle that it crossed, every lake. So if it came in this big at the coast, right? We'll say this big at the coast. Every hurdle, every lake, everything that it would have to cross, right, would make it do this. And I could see how we'd be safe here in Kentucky if you're at the top of a holler. You know what I mean? I could see it because it literally, by the time it get here, yeah, it's coming, but it has hit a lot of stuff, and these hollers is just going to make the water go right past you. Like, a holler is the same as, don't y'all know how y'all look at the volcanoes, how the magma, miss this one house? It's usually because there's some type of indent at the base of it that made it do that. You get what I'm saying? So it's sitting like this, whereas liquid's gonna flow the way liquid flows. You know what I mean? It's gonna come around it. So that was rough. That was rough. Like, kind of just realizing there was no way out. But here we go. This is what I wanted to tell y'all. This is important. After waking up from that dream, one of the things that I really understood is, if this is true, right? The name of that thing is called the deluge, right? The deluge. Almost like the base word for delusional. You get what I'm saying? I could see how a prophet, because that's what the Bible says. This is about them not listening to the prophets anymore. God can't warn his people because people refuse to listen to the prophets. So I could see how, if a prophet was saying they saw this in detail, right? Someone would say, oh, that's a crock. Oh, that's a crock. Oh, that's a crock. And it becomes, oh, you're talking about the deluge. Oh, he's delusional. So you could see the evidence of the word within the word. If you get what I'm trying to say, you can see why people aren't making a move. But know this, God told me to give a 40-day. Now, mind you, it might have been when I started that 40-day fast. So we're probably down to 28 days. But I didn't really. I was talking to y'all about a fast, how I'm fasting for 40 days. Um, but I'm gonna also say, I feel like we got 40 days. Oh wow. Oh wow. Just something just happened. Okay. Y'all know how I believe that whatever's going on in our government, we about to change courses real quick. Y'all know how I believe whatever's going on in our government, remember about the entity, like the evil entity, that it can see the future. It just can't see it in detail. You know what I mean? It can see it, it just can't see it in detail. How do we know this? Because all these movies forecast our lives and what's going on. So y'all know the movie, the TV show. What's the name of that TV show? Evil. Have y'all seen that TV show? That's a good TV show. Real talk. I like that TV show. Y'all know how at the last season, at the end of the season, a black woman holding a lamb, right, y'all, as a cartoon. So this is a regular TV movie, right? But or TV show. But at the end, the veil tore, and a cartoon one black woman came out and said something like 39 days till the fall of Babylon or something like that. I think the number of days after was when war began. Like if you go back and watch that TV show now, they don't even do it at the end no more. Isn't that crazy? At the like they cut that part of the TV show out. Okay. And it was totally at the end, at the last part, but they cut it out online, right, where you don't see that part. So reason why I say that, because I felt like it was deja vu. It felt like deja vu just now when I had said, y'all, no, really, it's like 28 days until, because I didn't, if that's the case, right? But one of the things I want y'all to know is God told me this year, like, how all of them say they got a date, or they don't got a date, or they know peace in part. Some people say they know it's going to be on this day, and other people know it's going to be on that day, but no one has the full picture. I'm telling you, I'm one of those people that says 2023, like no later than 2024. But everything like go read Bible verses that are verse 23, chapter 4, verse 23, or, go read them, and it looked like it's telling on itself. Um, so I'm going to say this, because what do you say after that? But I've always promised to just be honest. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. The deluge is coming. I would say by faith, I I'll tell you what I did. I can't tell you what you should do, because I'm just telling you what I did. By faith, I followed God to Kentucky. Let's just say that. If I followed God to Kentucky, and now when I woke up from something that I knew there was no escaping, I knew there was hope still. I'm not in the coastal areas. Oh, that's another thing God told me to tell you. Lake Erie. Lake Erie, y'all watch out for the Great Lakes. No, they're gonna go dry. Like, no, they're gonna go dry. God, no, like they're gonna disappear. They're gonna go dry. Like, something's gonna. Well, maybe that will be acute. I just saw it. I see it. Something will suck the water, because if it's going to implode on one side, the water would have to be sucked in order to come back over. That would make sense. Yeah, I've told y'all about dreams of me going to Lake Erie and it was dry. Like they were having a festival on the bottom of Lake Erie in remembrance of its water. type thing. You know what I mean? Like, so there was booths, like game booths, like a carnival, but it was set up in the base of Lake Erie in remembrance of when Lake Erie had water. Um, so I'm gonna say, get safe. Uh, it's definitely about to happen, but they're gonna do a purge first. Remember that. That is the story of Gog and Magog. But God said the day they do that purge is the day that He's gonna throw fire and brimstone down on their heads, which would make sense for her fire tornadoes. A few people had fire tornado dreams. Okay. I had dream of fire engulfing everything to where now I got a ridiculous amount of water. Because remember, I didn't have enough water. And I realized at that moment in the dream, I realized I've been holding on to this water to drink for when the time comes that there's no water to drink. And at that moment, not realizing it was fire and brimstone, that I had to make a choice. Do I use the water to pour out the fire, or do I keep hoarding the water? Like, no, we can't touch that water. Remember, I woke up crying that day too, saying I just poured the water all over everybody. But I was so hurt because I knew that water was all the water there was. So, y'all. So, what I'm trying to say is, I'll tell you what I've done. This isn't a quick decision, hasn't been a quick decision. Like, meaning I knew I was coming here, but I didn't know when He was going to make His move. I didn't know when God was going to make His move. So, like how the Bible says, is you move there and plant, because it's some time off. I'm saying if you're planning on making the move, it's going to take an amazing amount of faith and willing to set root wherever you go. So it's not this isn't going to be something you could just run out and skip. You get what I'm saying? And then, like, this ain't gonna be a home alone situation where you can leave town and come back, I mean, unless you know the date that they're gonna break open the earth. Um, but if you don't know the date that they're gonna break open the earth, then this isn't a situation where you could just, skip town for a little while and then go back and rebuild. No. This is something by faith. Okay, here we go. This is what I hear God saying. This is the time of Noah, but like the faith that gave Noah the notoriety, that's the faith of how everybody told him he was delusional, right? He was delusional. This thing wasn't going to happen. And they weren't going to do anything about it. They weren't going to participate. Noah and his sons built that gigantic ark alone. They were the only ones to walk into the ark and then come out and go, whoa, I'm safe. Wow. Right? They were the only ones that did that. And God has been kind of saying, why does this generation think He's going to do it any differently than how He did it with the guy that got the notoriety from how he did it? You get what I was trying to say? Like if Noah wouldn't have listened, he wouldn't be Noah. You get what I'm saying? Like his name wouldn't be brought down from ages and generations, and he wouldn't be Noah if he didn't listen, and everybody didn't do nothing too. Like if it would have been the group of them that built the ark, those that believed in God, those that trusted his word, those, it would have been the group. But no, it was just them. It was just them. So why do we think God is going to magically come grab us from and take us, carry us like babies into the wilderness? when Noah didn't, God didn't magically, he put in blood, sweat, and tears. Didn't Noah put in blood, sweat, and tears to build that in time 40 days? Then it rained for 40 days. So he took what, 4 years to build it? And then it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. Oh, wow. Now the Bible makes sense again. Y'all know how in the book of Daniel, it literally has a vision about evenings and nights, but it guess how many? 2,300. I've told y'all there's so many confirmations of the year 23, right? This year. And y'all know that's the key within the story of Noah, right? Y'all know that. The key is it rained for 40 days and 40 nights. That's when, like, I remember looking at that going, as a kid, kind of going, that's all the same. 40 days. Why they say 40 days, 40 nights? And then later on in my adult, while within the past 4 years, studying Daniel, wondering why, when he came back, he confirmed the vision about the evenings and the days are true. Or, you know what I mean? When Gabriel finally got, I think it was Gabriel, right? Or Michael, I don't know, one of those angels finally got to Daniel. He said, hey, somebody held me back. But I had to come, tell you about the vision you saw, about the evenings and the nights are true, or something like that. But I remember going, first he said the evenings and days and evenings over here, but then he confirmed it. So I went, okay, that's a clue because he confirmed it, right? This would make sense. I bet you they're talking about the deluge. I bet you they're talking about the deluge. I bet you. And it's 2,300. So they knew 2,300. They just probably didn't know detail that meant the year 23. I don't know if it means the year 23, but I'm telling you, as someone that sits and talks with God and feels his heart and emotion, I feel like it's 23. I feel like before that eclipse. How about that? Oh, y'all know there is a total eclipse coming. They didn't talk about it. Why didn't they talk about this? They got us waiting on one coming in April 8th, which is the birthday of the king, right? Or the old king or whatever. So they got us waiting on one coming April 8th of 2024. But y'all know, like, 10-4 one is coming. Y'all, those that's been here a while, if you've been listening to this channel, you know what 10-4 mean. 10-14. Ooh, 144,000 much. But 10-14 this year, there's and I believe it's like exactly noon. You know what I mean? Something like that. Like something, it was such a biblical, all the things from, go look it up on like your sky charts and stuff. Like when is it going to be full, like a total, which it might be a ring of fire one. I don't know. Go look into it. Because why ain't nobody talking about that one though? They got us waiting on that other one, like Great American Eclipse. Well, this one on 10-4, I believe you can see it in America, but I might be wrong. So that's what I was trying to get across to everyone, is that you might want to weigh, like, make studying this your priority, especially if you believe in God. Like if you, really do claim to believe in God, I would say study some of this stuff. so that I'm talking about from the point of, just opening your eyes. They got that draconian system, which I think it's in Greek. That word means career, right? Go look it up in the Strong's Concordance, right? It means like career. So I know they got that draconian system in front of you to where it's hard, to see past that, you know. But I would say make it a priority. I would say make studying the possibility of taking time off and going to a place where there's a lot of hollers, going to a place where you could live on top of a holler. Good morning, Rose. I've missed you so much. I've missed all of you. Like, I can't talk on the phone to any of my friends. I don't have a phone, but I see why God put me in complete, stop. Like how you grab your 2-year-old by the neck and be like, get back here. Like, like, no, you about to grab the wrong thing. That's what God did with me, where I'm just toddling and he's like, you know. But I am in complete isolation and solitude all day long. Um, oh, praise God. Truth warrior. I've been listening the whole time. Praise God. And I know you've been here from the beginning, so this got to be You've seen, you knew. There's no way for me to have that dream. I know you've had to have seen me talk about these dreams. There's no way to make them a culmination. I now know. I saw it with my own eyes. What happened in that first dream where I didn't know what happened? The earth folded. Makes my stomach hurt. That makes my stomach hurt. Just to know. Oh, that makes my stomach hurt. Yeah, to know that that's possible. And then, I told that teacher about that. So, y'all, that would make sense. So, either something's coming in or they broke something off, because remember I told y'all in a video when guy had me painting a picture of something giving birth to a planet, like it pooped out a planet. Remember I was telling y'all saw it, go back and look. It's during one of the ones where I was painting. God showed me it pooped a planet. But when I think about it from the terms of when I was in that class, that is basic creation, shooting something into plasma. You know what I mean? So liquidy substance shooting something, the natural effects of accretion will happen. That's the natural effects. So the whole thing is going to crack, the whole thing, and something going to be in there. It's going to be growing. It's going to come out. That whole thing is creation. You get what I'm saying? That whole concept is creation. So, that's deep. Truth Warrior says, I've been having lots of dreams, visions recently, last 4 months. They don't make total sense. Man, I will say this, I know, like in my case, God been doing stuff like so that you will know it's supernatural. Like he flipped it. Remember the thing about the 26? Y'all remember that? It was like that was another flood dream. Remember that? I was on the shores of Lake Erie, and there was this wave that was so far away, but the fact that I could see it, the fact that I knew that it was as far away as Canada, and it was that high. You know what I mean? Let me know this was a big wave. And I was, I'll never forget, I told this story, but I was hanging out with a whole bunch of white people. And they were like, oh, it's far away. Don't even worry about it. It's okay. Because I'm like, y'all see that? I'm trying to grab my stuff. And they're like, oh, it's far away. It's okay. Yeah, we got time. And I went, in my dream, I went, okay, we got time. But then I went, well, I'm listening to these white folks. I'm out. That's what happened in the dream. I'm telling the truth. Y'all remember it. I know y'all remember it. Because then I grabbed my stuff and left, and then that's when God told us about the 26. I was in a war room. Um, it was like a strategy room, and we were all sitting around a table talking to God. Like, but that's the thing about it. I knew God was the room. That's something like I had to really think about. He wasn't in the room, he was the room. Like it was a lot of us sitting there, but we knew he was going to put stuff in the wall. Like, stuff was going to come out the wall and tell us something, or something was going to come from here and tell us something. But we didn't see God. You get what I'm saying? He was the room. Best way to put it. But after seeing what happened with the flood, or the wave, I said, or I don't know if it was after or before, I don't know. But I remember saying to God, just please give me a clue. Whatever clue you give me, I promise you, God, I'll run after it. Just when is this going to happen? Just give me a clue and I'll run after it with my heart and soul. Like I was standing there begging him, like I'll run after it and figure it out with my heart and soul. And then numbers started appearing on the wall, like the NASDAQ, like they were just scrolling on the wall, and they would go, ooh, and then they'd scroll again and go, ooh. But I couldn't get none of the numbers. I yelled at my husband and screamed, get a pen, he's speaking, and I couldn't, he didn't get a pen. And long story short, I went, I'm going to remember one of these numbers. Like, I'm going to remember this. And I saw a number that came clear, and I just jumped, like I went 26. I woke myself up in real life, right? Screaming the words 26, so that way I didn't forget it, and, yeah, so much has occurred since then. We found out that Moses's wait, was it Moses? Yeah, Moses's birthday was on the 26th, February 26th. You know, we found out that he lived and died on the same day, and that Martin Luther King lived and died on the same day too. By the concept of a holiday, even though it wasn't the same dates, it was the same holiday. You know, it's deep. So we've learned a lot over the years, and to have this culmination. What's my email address? To have this culmination, it's bittersweet. For him to be giving the details of all of this, it's a bittersweet moment, because that's another thing in my dream. All these people. That's kind of why I woke up crying, because all these people were dying. I mean, no, all these people were dying. And I wasn't, like, I was running, but I was safe. You know what I mean? But I had to do some hurdles, some running kind of stuff. But my family wasn't in that dream. It was like literally like get your family safe. But all these people were dying, and I had this weird sense of, thank God it's finally happened. And that, I get why they say don't feel that way, because it was a horrible time to have that feeling, knowing all these people, no real blood carnage, like waves toppling skyscrapers, you know what I mean? Like, but to be feeling like, thank you, it's over. Like this feeling of it is finished. Ah, I get it, Jesus. I get it. I get it. It is finished. Ah, that's a feeling, y'all. That's a feeling. That's a feeling. I get it. Oh, Jesus. I get it. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I get it, Jesus. Oh, I get it. I get it, Jesus. I get it. Oh, I get it. Oh, I get it. Oh, oh, it's 444. It was 444. We was on exactly 444. Oh, Jesus. Oh, I get it. I get it. Oh, y'all. Oh, it is finished. It is finished. Right when I said it is finished. It's that 444. Oh, I see it. I see why Jesus says that it was finished. That is an odd sense of, it's a painful, it's a, like a mourning, like a mourning gratefulness, like a submission, like a submission, never told, yes, all the, this person is dead or all these people have died, but the feeling of it is done. It's done. I get it, Jesus. I get it. Oh God. I get it. Oh God. I gotta go. I gotta go. Oh, I gotta go. That's just a lot. That's a lot. I gotta process what I've just heard, and I gotta process it. Just get ready, or make a move, or don't. Either way it goes, it's gonna be finished. Ouch. Ouch. It's gonna be finished. Oh, I gotta go. I love you guys. I'm gonna talk to y'all soon.